Hello family, welcome to my YouTube channel, The What Is. It's always your boy Joseph. Today we're going to be discussing about news from US. We're going to be discussing about also news from Nigeria. But first of all, let's dive into the US news. Where we'll be talking about the hypocrisy of the Republican Party in the United States of America. Now, since last week, Texas has been hit, with power blackouts. For some time now because of the extreme weather. Now, the Republican Party, they are accusing the Democrats, for not supporting the people of Texas, for not, this is a time of unity that all states needs to come together to fight for the betterment of, to fight for the well-being of the Texas people that are suffering right now. Now, I'm not saying that other states shouldn't help. At least the government, the federal government, everybody needs to put hands together to make sure that the people in Texas are well taken care of. Now, and in light of that, the president Joe Biden instructed FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, to distribute generators to the people of Texas to alleviate their suffering, for the cold weather. Now, in 2012, when, Hurricane Sandy hit New York and New Jersey, these same Republican senators and House of Rep members, they were so nonchalant. They didn't do anything about it, The most annoying part, when the House of Representatives wants to hold a vote, they want to hold a vote, to pass a relief bill, to the people of New York and New Jersey. Could you imagine two senators, Ted Cruz and John Cornyn of Texas, and 23 Republican House members? Mind you, there are 24 Republican House members in the House of Representatives. 23 voted against that bill. But at the end of the day, the bill passed the House because other states rallied around, other members from other states in the House of Representatives rallied around to making sure that New York and New Jersey, they get the relief that they need, from the government. Now, when this blackout happened because of the extreme weather in Texas, now the funniest part is that the Republican senator Ted Cruz, that was supposed to be in the state making sure that people are getting what they need, people are okay, what did he do? He flew to Mexico with his family and left vulnerable Texans to be struggling for their life. Many people have died. He only came back from the outrage that he experienced from people. Now, he was criticizing the Democrats. Could you imagine Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York City and Beto O'Rourke from Texas? They are both Democrats. Raised $5 million. $5 million to help the people of Texas. Now, why am I saying this? Now, if it happens to other states, these same Texas, legislators, what would they do? They will stand back. They won't do anything about it. They will mock other states that, they can't, do things for their people, which is very, very absurd. Now, if you want to be fair, you must, the same treatment you want for yourself, you must give it to others. This is what we're talking about. And even this thing happened last year when California experienced same blackout. The funny part, this same Ted Cruz wrote on Twitter mocking California that California could not even perform the basic function of civilization by having reliable power supply. Forgetting that, this thing is nobody's fault. Now, that same thing that happened to California has also happened to Texas. What does he have to say? When he was confronted by this, he was like I had nothing to say. It was very, very bad. I think that as leaders, we should think before we talk. We should be very, 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 very thoughtful before we say anything, because whatever we say today, will be used against us tomorrow. And the problem that happened in Texas is as a result of the negligence of the governor and the government of Texas. Now, they were warned in 2011 because they experienced the same blackout in 2011. They were warned that they need to put in place measures to making sure that their power grid could withstand, the freezing temperature. Now, what did they do? They ignored the report. They didn't do anything. So this is, this is a tragedy of their own doing. This is a tragedy because if they had done what they ought to do, I believe that this tragedy would have been averted. I think that leaders should wake up to the responsibility that the people voted them into power and they represent the people, and they must make sure that the people that vote them into power, get the basic function, the basic things from the government. Now, having said that, we are going to dive straight into the Nigerian news. Now, I'm going to read something for you. I'm going to read a report from you. And after reading the report, we're going to discuss, about, the poverty situation in Nigeria. Now, according to reports by the Financial Derivative Company Limited, FDC, they said, with rising poverty, unemployment, Nigeria city on time bomb. Now, they went further to say, the Financial Derivative Company Limited has stressed that Nigeria's high unemployment, its large youth population, as well as its poverty rate, mean that the country is effectively sitting on a massive keg of gunpowder. Now, they went further. They said Nigeria now has an estimated 91 million people. 91 million people. That means 43% of the Nigerian population are living in extreme poverty. They live less than $2 per day. Less than $2 per day. Now, they said this is up 29% from 70 million in 2016 and has been projected to reach 106.6 million by 2030. By 2030. They said Nigeria is now regarded as the world poverty capital. This is disheartening. 91 million Nigerians are living in extreme poverty. We're talking about 43% of the Nigerian population are living in extreme poverty. Now, they said this is up 29% from 2016. In 2016, there was 17 million Nigerians that was living in poverty. But right now, 91 million Nigerians. And there is even a projection that number could rise to 106.6 million in 2030. This is appalling. This is appalling. Nigeria is rich. Nigeria is not a poor country. This is as a result of the failure of the government. This is the failure of the government policies. The policies that the government rolls out on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a yearly basis, they are not favorable to the common Nigerians. They are not favorable to the common Nigerians. Now, in Nigeria, the wealth gap is so massive. The ones that are poor are extremely poor. The ones that are rich are extremely rich. Even the middle class, to some extent, is non-existent in Nigeria. This is heartbreaking. Now, that's not all. Even UNICEF came out to say 41 million Nigerian children are out of school. 41 million Nigerian children are out of school. Why? Because of poverty. Because of poverty. Because of the policies of the government. And they want to say that because the government has invested so little in the educational sector in Nigeria for the past 10 years. Their investment in education is very, very low. It's even to the extent that they did nothing in the educational sectors in Nigeria. In Nigeria, there's no school feeding. That, oh, okay, when the children, when they go back to school, there's food for them. The school will feed them, nothing. No, nothing like that. Even there's no standard school. All the infrastructures in all the schools, the infrastructures, they are all broken. You see classroom, there's no roof, open. Rain, if rain is falling, it's falling on. No, there's no hiding space for the children. There's no conducive learning environment for the children, which has resulted to 41 million Nigerian children out of school. No, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Now, like I said in our previous video when we were discussing about corruption, corruption is at the top. Poverty is as a result of corruption. It's a result of corruption. And the earlier Nigerians realized that the government is not helping them, that they need to fight. They need to fight for those things to come to them. Nothing will be done. Nothing will be done. And what you must realize that when you want to fight the government will fight back. But when you are resilient, when Nigerians are resilient, the people will surely prevail at the end of the day. Because the government is not helping them, to be honest. This is the problem we are facing in Nigeria. And also, the report went as far to say that insecurity is also part of, the poverty situation in Nigeria. Now, though we're going to discuss insecurity, but in another segment. But according to them, they said because insecurity has made investors, not to come to the country to invest because they are afraid, because their security is not guaranteed. Like for example, when you go to the northern part of Nigeria, Boko Haram insurgents everywhere. Now, how can you tell investors to come to your country to invest when you as a government has not been able to protect even your own citizens? How can you protect them? This is the problem. If you want investment to come to your country, if you want investors to come to invest in your country, what will you do? You must, first of all, the first thing you must do is security. You must make sure that security is guaranteed. Because it's only when investors feel that they are safe that they can come to Nigeria and they can come to your country to invest. This is part of the problem in Nigeria. Now, we know that even this coronavirus pandemic also, made everything worse. Now, according to a report, he said foreign direct investment flow into Nigeria fell by 21%. To $2.6 billion in 2020. Now, they said that this number will increase, that in 2020 the number will increase, but the insecurity in Nigeria will drag that number down, would even make things worse. Now, we know that we can give the government that this pandemic is nobody's fault. This pandemic just came. They are trying to make sure that, things are okay. We understand. But what is the response of the government to this pandemic? What is the response? That should be the question. In the midst of this pandemic, did the government give the citizens alleviation? Did they give them, some things? These are food. Did they give them some palliative measures? Was all these things done? No. Even we had report that even some of the things that were stuck in the warehouse to give to Nigerians, the government kept it for themselves. In the midst of pandemic. When you know that your citizens, they can't go to work, they can't go to the market, they can't go anywhere because of the pandemic. Still, what you need to give them to be comfortable, what you need to give them, to at least to alleviate their pain, their suffering. You held it to yourself. You kept it to yourself. And you think that poverty will not linger all over the country? You lie. Poverty will be the order of the day. You know, that's why I'm calling on Nigerians, to wake up. Because this is appalling. This is crazy that Nigeria is still wallowing in poverty when we have the money, when we have the resources. We have so many natural resources. We have oil, we have gold, we have silver, we have what have you? We have everything, all the natural resources. Yet, the mismanagement of these resources has led to the pain, to the suffering of the common Nigerians. This is all we have for you today. And please don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram by clicking on the link below. And also, please don't forget to subscribe and like, share, and comment. And today's post notification shout out goes to Emmanuel Solomon. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very, very much for your encouragement. I see you. And also, if you want your own shout out, please don't forget to press on the notification bell and leave a comment so that I will know you. Thank you very, very much. I'm so grateful. So bye for now. I'll see you in our next video. Stay safe. God bless you.